What's going on, family? Once again, it is the incredible In the Black podcast. I am your host, Big O, Mr. In the Black himself, but you know I can never do this alone. Um, just in case if you're not familiar, this is a podcast dedicated to covering the current events and social issues going on in your Black world and covering it all from the perspective of typically three grown ass men who like to get into a little bit of good trouble. Uh, L, say what's up to the folks, bro.
What's good, family?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
They let me
Uh,
out. All
I'm
right.
off the leash. If you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. If you're jumping in the comments, you came in, please hit that thumbs up button. Let's get this thing up to at least 50 likes. Drop a comment in the comment section, just telling us who you are and where you're from and all that other good stuff. Just saying what's up. The world, as we know it, has been going bananas over the past couple of hours. Recently, the United States has entered into. You tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm tripping. The United States has entered into World War III. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. I think it's
Okay.
fair to say that even if America is not saying it, I think if we just look at the current landscape of geopolitics, we can see what this motherfuckers are doing has led to us being in a shitty spot. So yeah, World War III, baby, we here.
Um, Bruh, I'm going to say it like this. I know that I debated with a lot of folks, especially some of my former military friends, about what this president was supposed to be, right? And that he was going to be an anti-war president. He was going to be an isolationist. He's going to remove us from all of the things that we've been worrying about for the longest time, right? And yet here we are. It looks as though we are doing uh, Israel's work, for lack of a better description. I don't know about you, but I thought he was supposed to be America first. And if we're going out and we're bombing Iran because of the push that Israel has put on us, that doesn't sound like America first to me. How about you?
Nah, he has redefined "Make America Great Again." I think he meant to say, mega expanding America great again. Because literally that's what this motherfucker is doing. There's only I I am struggling on a number of levels with this shit. One level I'm struggling with it is the Zionist Israeli component to this is larger than I think most average people in America understand. Right? There's when he got on TV yesterday and said, "God bless the United States, God bless the Middle East, and God bless Israel." Like, but you just got finished telling us that you sent airstrikes to Iran because of Iran's
What's up?
nuclear potential. Nowhere in your initial statement did you mention Israel at all. It was like, so
Bruh, like,
is it Uchi Wally Wally? Is it like, I mean,
nah. I think part of the problem that I've had with this whole thing, bro, is just the honesty or the lack of honesty that we've been seeing, right? If we are doing, and this is, I want to make sure that I'm very clear because many times when we have conversations like this about Israel, people think that we're talking about, or the presumptions that you're talking about Jewish people, right? I am not talking about Jewish people. I am talking about Israel and the Israeli administration that currently is leading these efforts into Iran. Uh, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a compilation that they put over the past 30 years that they've been saying that Iran is a week away, is a week away from having nuclear weapons. And yet and still, what do we have here? Preemptive strike into Iran from Israel, who's then backed out because they don't have necessarily the firepower, and I put that in quotes, the firepower to do what's necessary to destroy uh, Iran's nuclear capabilities. In this whole ordeal, one thing that we continuously overlooked is the fact that of the three parties here, or the three entities in this whole equation, the United States, Iran, and Israel, two of them have nuclear weapons. One of them does not.
One of them doesn't, and one of them is literally the key ingredient to what is taking place between the other two.
Yes,
Like,
indeed.
I want people to, if there's nothing else in this conversation that we're having, I want people to take care of themselves. Like, that's just huge. We've experienced a lot underneath this current administration. He's done a lot. He's done a lot to get us into a position, man, that our senses, our mentality, everything is off kilter. We don't know left or right, blue or green. We are so struggling in so many ways. I want us to take care of ourselves. That's because this is a
Yeah,
lot.
that's the one.
Also, at the same time, I would like people to examine where they're getting their media from. It's important because the media is doing an intentional job of making sure that the information that you are getting is not, it's not even half-assed or watered down. They're giving you what they want you to have in order for you to form a particular opinion and perspective.
Yeah.
And because of our media literacy rate in this fucking country, we're not able to discern when people who, are charismatic and have been on the air for a long time are feeding us a bag of shit and we're opening and swallowing it. And that's what we're seeing right now. This thing with Israel is not a new thing. We've been here with them for years. And like Carmen says, Israel's a provocative victim, man. They are, and because, and it's, we could do this for hours because there's so much behind us. Like we haven't even talked about the religious compartment
Component
of
of it.
this, like
Yeah,
component of
yeah.
it. We have to be able to unpack so much, but I want us to be able to realize that we are in a dire situation because, oh, Krush, this is not just Iran by themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
everybody got allies, my guy.
That's it. That's it. And
Everybody.
what
And when you start talking about Iran's allies,
Yeah, yeah. I think before we jump into that, if you are once again, if you are jumping into this video, please make sure that you hit that thumbs up button, give this video a like, and just drop a comment down below, just
yeah,
telling
share
us
it
who
with your
you are,
mama and
where you
them.
from. Yeah, no bullshit. Um, Carmen is 100% right, bro. We've heard this message before. This seems like history repeating itself. This is how Israel lied to us before to get us into Iraq, talking about weapons of mass destruction. Once again, BB's been saying for the past 30 years, that compilation is very big proof of it. Past 30 years of what Iran possibly is close to having a nuclear weapon with. But apparently it hasn't been the case at all. Like when you actually do the research, let's not forget, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national
Yep.
intelligence, earlier was just like, nah, they're not even close at this point. They've
Yeah.
just been using it to provide power for themselves.
Yeah.
And Trump came out the other day and was like, nah, she's lying. She don't know what she's talking about. And she quickly changed her tune. And once again, I gotta beat the drum, bro. When we are not talking about how much firepower Israel actually has, Iron Dome is a thing. They have a weapons arsenal that is like no other. There is the nuclear proliferations treaty that was signed by all these different countries to say that we are going to get rid of all the nuclear weapons or majority of the nuclear weapons that we have. We're going to bring things down because we're trying to do a harder push towards peace. Do you know there are only three countries, I believe, that didn't sign that treaty? India, Pakistan, and guess who the third one is?
Who's the
Israel
third one? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Israel with
yeah.
nuclear weapons was like, nah, we're not signing that, bro. We're not
Yeah.
signing. We're not getting rid of our stuff. We're not even going to lessen it. So it shows you the type of agenda, I believe, the Zionist position on it, that agenda that they've been on for years now. Now, and the problem is, here we are 30 years from the first time that Benjamin Netanyahu said this nonsense to now, that they're going to take a step back and there are going to be 40,000 plus servicemen across the Middle East and Persia that are going to be in danger because we've been asked to do this work. Like, let's keep it a buck. And
And we
that's
haven't,
my
yeah, we're not even in any way highlighting any type of pro-military message here. These are people who will be affected because the bottom line is the people who make the decisions to go to war are never the motherfuckers on the front line going to war. Right? They're making decisions for other people to go and put their lives on the line. And I can't imagine what it has to feel like to be a person who has pledged their allegiance to this country, one, and two, pledge their allegiance to this country in such a way that they're willing to lay their life down and fight for it, but then turn on the TV and watch this idiot talk. Like, you have to be questioning all of your life choices at the moment. And I don't say that in jest, but at what point in time do you look at the leader and say, damn, is this the motherfucker I want to be laying my life down for and fighting for?
Yeah.
Because you saw during that time when they had recently down in D.C., they had the veterans protesting in Veterans March. These were recent veterans who were going and screaming about America being in unjust wars and being in places that we should not be in. The last thing you want is your military to begin to rise up and say, we're not. It's such an ugly issue. It's so complicated, and we're in trouble.
Go ahead, Krush.
There are definitely some signs of the military responding to the idea of responding to unjust or unlawful orders, and this is definitely a sentiment that's spreading far and wide from what I've seen on social media and in certain reports.
Yeah. I'm going to ask the $1 million question, and we can wrap up on this. Why should, if they should, Black people be concerned? Because that's what we really care about here. We're talking about the Black collective, the Black diaspora. Why should we be concerned about this war between Iran, the United States, and Israel? We know we cannot leave Israel
outside of the biggest one, that motherfuckers across the diaspora are going to die because of this idiot's decision making. And when I say idiot, he just happens to be the current monster of this train that has been doing this bullshit for years. Like, so he's the conductor of this awful runaway train that has been causing this type of wreckage for years. But my concern largely, is not only the loss of life that Black people across the diaspora are going to face when these countries begin to actually have physical on the ground combat, because that's the next step. That's what's going to be coming next, is that level of concern of the loss of life. Then what happens in our actual country here when we begin to do things? Like, we can't take our eye off the ball and focus on what's taking place there and forget what this motherfucker is also trying to do here. Like, we literally are walking around.
Outside of that, I'm going to ask you another question.
Go ahead.
Because the argument is whether or not we would be in this position if Kamala was the president.
Oh, absolutely.
You think we'd be at war right now?
I believe and I think that's unfair, but I'll make a statement and say that I think we would still be defending Israel the same way that we are doing now. Would we have done what we did with the strikes against Iran? Maybe, maybe not. But what you can be absolutely 110% sure of is that our defending and support, our unwavering support of Israel would have continued under her. She made it clear in every fucking thing. But what she did was, and again, I don't want to be disparaging towards her.
From anybody else.
She did the same thing that every other president before her has done, is that they have pledged their, and it's not even just simply about supporting Israel. It's a lot of things that come from supporting Israel. Like there's money, there's other support. You almost have to, as the president of this country, support Israel. Like at this point in time, you have to. So, do I think, to answer the question, do I think that we would be battling with Iran right now in the way we have? Probably not. But will we still be in some fuck shit with Israel? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for certain. All right, I want to get into why most of y'all probably came to hear us talk it up, because I want to badmouth Tyler Perry for the next couple minutes while I got an opportunity to do so. Recently, man, Tyler Perry was on an interview. In case you guys weren't aware, and as you're coming in, please do us a favor, hit that thumbs up.
Man, hit that like button, that share button, share it with your mama and them.
Make sure you hit a comment.
They ain't go to church today anyway because it's too hot and you ain't got no AC. So go ahead and share it.
They pop out the fans and shit.
Please.
Yeah, leave a comment down below. Let us know where you're from and what the deal is. Yeah. In case most of you probably already know, Tyler Perry released a film called Straw on Netflix. I think last week or a week or two ago, whatever. And that movie, of course, has jumped up to #1 on a lot of on Netflix most watched.
I was gonna say it's only on Netflix. It ain't nowhere else.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know where else it might be, bro. Don't do that.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. It's on Pornhub also. Go
ahead. Yes. So recently that movie came out. It's jumped to #1, one of the most watched films on Netflix right now. And everyone has, well, let me not say everyone, but a lot of people have their concerns about Tyler Perry and the type of films that he puts out. So Tyler Perry was on Ari Melber's show recently on MSNBC, and they had a conversation. And I want to get you guys' thoughts on his response to why he gets the criticism he gets for his films.
I want to ask you about criticism. It's interesting. Your criticism level seems to be higher than other people at your success level. Yeah. Do you agree?
I want us to take a time out and just see the alley-oop that Ari just gave him with that question. Right?
That was a beautiful bounce pass.
It was a beautiful bounce pass. Okay. The level of criticism that you get is higher than most folks of your. Anyway, motherfucker. All right, let's keep going.
You agree with that?
I would absolutely agree. If there are people at my success level.
Okay. So I just want to read one, if it's all right with you. And this is from Teray, who's been around. I don't know if you came across this or not.
Yeah.
But he said Perry is.
Don't liquor for the masses. Is that the one? Go ahead. Let me hear it.
He said Perry's serving an audience that is underserved by Hollywood. He argues. And he says, and as he's speaking as a black man in America, he says, especially black Southern women who don't see themselves in Hollywood fare. He says his grandmother loves this stuff. And then he says, quote, I can't watch it without cringing.
Yeah.
So before we jump into anything else, do you agree with what he's saying so far?
Hell no.
Hold on. Do you agree with what Torre said? That watching his Tyler Perry movies. No. Okay. Go ahead. I'll let you cook.
I think that Torre has a level of. It's not just Southern people who are offended by, Tyler Perry's movies. There are some wildly intelligent and empathetic and caring people, particularly black women, that I will highlight who think Tyler Perry's movies are absolute fucking trash, right? Largely because they feel like, and I think they're becoming more vocal now, is black women feel specifically that Tyler Perry continuously takes their pain, their trauma, their misfortune, twist it, throw a bad wig on it and some bad makeup.
Trauma porn, my guy, trauma porn.
And flip it to make some money out of it. That he is not an ally or lover of black women or black people in general because of the type of product that he consistently puts out.
Yes, indeed.
Krush, what do you think, man?
I mean, for the most part, I would say that, Touré's, For one, I have to show respect to Toure as a journalist. I feel like the comments he made, for one, are from more than a decade ago. By the way, and while they do encapsulate one part of the argument, I mean, Elgin's right. The criticism has increased, from across many quarters, and for me, you know, you know, Mr. Perry has almost made the filmmaking process seem kind of assembly line like to me, in terms of from writing to production. And and it's like, I remember some rationale that he put forth that the formula that was working for him with the stage plays was something that he wanted to see. He wanted to see work on the screen, and it seemed to work. And but he never seemed to build on it. I mean, there will be stabs here and there, other kinds of writing, but it's become very formulaic and become a trope on its own in filmmaking. For the kind of things he does. So it's hard not to criticize after 20, 30 odd years doing this. I mean, just like with our criticism of Drake from Mr. Lamar, we want to see some growth.
Criticism for a lot of creators that have been doing this for a long time.
I mean, it comes back to the essence about why do we have to support Black business? We need to be supporting strong Black business standards.
Yeah. All right, let's jump back into it, and you see exactly what his response is, and I want to get your visceral response after you hear what he says.
What do you take of that? Is it just out of bounds, off the whole conversation, or is there something there that you deal with?
First of all, he's brilliant. Like I've watched him. I pay attention to him. Toure brilliant. However, I can understand why he doesn't relate to it, because there's a highbrow level of Negro who doesn't understand what I do and how I do it. And there's this
let's rewind that. I want to rewind that. Listen to what he basically said.
However, I can understand why he doesn't relate to it, because there's a highbrow level of Negro who doesn't understand what I do and how I do it. And there's this need to look down upon it to make themselves feel a certain way about it, rather than embrace.
So he said basically that there are these uppity ass Negroes that don't understand what I'm trying to do, and that's why, because they're so uppity and hoity-toity, that's why the reason why they disrespected my movies. What do you think about that, bro? I'm gonna let Krush go first, and then I'm gonna let L cook.
The point being, sir, is that you're still there. Okay, you're still there. That's the point. At a certain point, things have to grow and change and diversify, and risks have to be taken. You take no risks. You know what I'm saying? You're being a capitalist with Black culture. You take no risks. You take no risk with this shit, and that's why it becomes embarrassing after a while. You have you have what I know, and as all Black people know, you have fuck you level money. Fuck you in the rules. Fuck this structure. Fuck this trope. Fuck this aesthetic. Get a whole new can of paint for the shit. You know what I'm saying? But no, you stay right here in this nice little convenient, comfortable box where it's easy for you to make these comments he's made before. This is a really, he said this highbrow Negro thing before in different forms over the years. There's just repackaging it for my man Toure. And it's tired. It's old. I mean, I don't know when. Hopefully, maybe now it's starting to get real old to people. That's what it sounds like.
Go ahead, L.
That has got to be one of the most backhanded compliments that I've ever seen before in my life. Like I am, and you can just see his face getting angry as he's making these comments. You can tell that he's getting wildly frustrated. You can tell that the comments and the criticism that he has earned is beginning to get to him and beginning to make him
say
crack.
That shit again. I want you to say that last part again.
He earned all of it. It is starting, all the criticism he has earned is starting to get to him. When you begin to make those types of claims and assertions and say highbrow Negro, and you begin to elevate yourself intellectually, like you don't understand my master plan, like you just gotta ride with the plan, like motherfucker sounds like Skeletor. Like what are you talking about, my guy?
But
it kind of looks like him too. Like
but there's a strange manipulation going on there. He's claiming to be, grounded in his approach, and yet you want to yet you want to find a way to condescend a fellow black man for his honest take. So I'm like, who's the highbrow Negro here?
Hold up. I want you to chill on
who's
that
the
for a second.
highbrow Negro here?
I want you to chill on that for a second and just listen to it. We're gonna give you a little more a better taste of this.
Mr. Torre is brilliant. However, I can understand why he doesn't relate to it, because there's a highbrow level of Negro who doesn't understand what I do and how I do it, and there's this need to look down upon it to make themselves feel a certain way about it, rather than embracing and understand what it is. Because there's a sense of moving away from where we come from, forgetting that our mothers were actually maids and grandmothers were maids and helped, and all the things that we had to do to get us to be in the place that we're in. Now, I don't know about his. It's almost like Spike Lee. Spike Lee's mother was an educator, so I can't relate to that. My mother worked at a Jewish community center with preschool kids most of my childhood, and my father was a carpenter. So my upbringing is very Southern. It's very raw. It's very guttural. It's not the class and sophistication of New York. Torre, New York. Spike, New York. They are allowed to have that. But what it will tell you this: Langston Hughes said that Zora Neale Hurston was a new version of the darky because she spoke in a Southern dialect. So you look at the two of them, who brilliant in both their ways, but they also had their opinions. I can't fix that,
bro. I think it was the fact that he brought in Zora Neale Hurston to try and balance out his insult to East Coast blacks, saying that essentially,
like he brings in Langston Hughes to somehow do what? What are we?
I think you couldn't. You said it. You hit the nail right on the head, L. That there is this disconnect with him from all of the credit that he's earned, as though creators that have come before him have not been criticized the same way. This same Spike Lee that he's basically saying is a highbrow Negro has been criticized from day one. One of the biggest things that has hurt Spike Lee's his legacy with his movies, that his messaging is very, very heavy-handed. People have always you're not walking into a Spike Lee movie to necessarily be entertained. You're coming into a dissertation to learn something. And some people don't want that experience. Some people don't like that. He's been criticized from day one. So to say that, the reason why you're getting criticized, especially from black people, especially from black men, is because they are high-level hoity-toity Negroes that can't understand what it's like to get it from the mud or be in the streets. Like, that just sounds wildly ridiculous to me.
Sounds stupid.
Very myopic.
Yeah. So Carmen made a comment, and I'm glad that she did, about the non-union actors that he uses on the sets of his movies. Are you guys familiar with that? Because that's the first time I'm hearing about that. I thought that he was acting.
I'm not familiar with that practice. No.
Yeah, I've heard that he uses.
I'm not familiar with him doing that.
Yeah, non-using act. But again, one of the praises that people make about TP is the fact of, and I say TP toilet paper, about him is the fact that he gives so many black people work, that he's always hiring black folk. Now, there's a level of, okay, but if you're hiring black people in non-union shit jobs, my guy, you're no different than fucking Walmart or Target. Like, so let's not make it seem as if you've reached some aspirational status. And there have only been certain black actors and actresses who get into your movies that are paid better on your set than they are other sets. So you don't get, my guy, you don't get no fucking kudos for that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, at least if you're going to give him credit for anything, to be very fair, besides the fact that you said of being able to hire as many black people as he does hire, is also that he saw a niche, he saw a need, and he's been filling it, and he's been filling it, and he's been filling it. And he has an audience. There are people that look forward to the next Tyler Perry movie. But at the same time, I really feel like outside of the controversy that he has on his back, I think there is something to be said for growth once you've been in an industry for long, you can't continue to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expect people not to get tired of it. I know that I've had conversations with folks that people have had the audacity, the temerity to say that Tyler Perry is a better director and movie producer than Ryan Coogler. And I was like, Ryan Coogler takes chances, he takes risks, he does, and maybe it's a level of taste, but at the same time, it's like you want something different. Our life doesn't always have to revolve around drama and trauma.
And he's not making movies for us, family. Black folks are not Tyler Perry's audience, man.
Who's Tyler Perry's audience then? I want you to say it.
White people who want to be entertained by the black experience. White, particularly white liberals, are his targeted audience. He's not making movies for me and you. He's not making movies for Carmen. He's not making movies for anybody who's actually done work on their trauma, who actually has read a fucking book. He's not making movies for us. Straw was an absolute abomination of a movie from start to fucking finish. Every possible trauma that a person can experience in life was in that 90-minute film. Everything that you can ever possibly experience in form of trauma was it, literally. And the acting was horrible. You made Taraji, who is gorgeous, look terrible. I didn't realize that was Sherry in the movie. It was despicable. And you tried to do a Sixth Sense type of cliffhanger at the end. Come on, my guy. Come on. And he owns Netflix now. This motherfucker got like 4 things on Netflix right now. Like every time you turn around, he has shows that are exclusively on Netflix right now. I didn't remember a deal being announced between him and Netflix, a distribution deal. But he has a number of things on Netflix right now, and they're all terrible.
Yeah. And one of the funniest parts is that he was at, I think it was the BET Awards, where they gave him an award, and he was like, thank you to all the black women that helped to make Straw the #1 movie on Netflix. And I know you guys are going to do the same thing with the next movie that he's about to drop on Netflix too, which he knows it. I was trying not to say it. I didn't want to promote the joke. But he's already claiming it, bro. So I mean, he knows his audience, he knows his people.
He does. He's done a great job of manipulating his audience into continues. He's a master at that. He's a master at that act. And it's horrible. I want us to outgrow and leave him alone. And maybe he'll go away and come back with a better product.
Maybe. All right. Krush, where can folks find you if they'd like to find you, bro?
First of all, apologies for my lateness. I had to take my wife to the airport. You can catch me here on Instagram as usual at SP Methods and TikTok at SP Methods.
No doubt. L, where can folks find you, bro?
You can find me all over social media platforms, man. I'm everywhere out in these streets.
No doubt. And I'm Big O, Mr. In the Black himself. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at MR_InTheBlack. And I want to thank you guys for joining us for this live episode of the In the Black podcast. You could have been anywhere else in the world, possibly at a hot church, but you chose to kick it with us here, and we appreciate you. Make sure you follow us across social media at In the Black PDCST on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And I guess we'll check you out in the next time. Until next time, informed, intelligent, in the black.
In the black.
Peace.